Right? We're happy to reach out to people who are being ministered to with this wonderful message all the way around the world. From Bangladesh, we welcome those coming from Indonesia and the Philippines. We're thrilled to have those who are joining us via Canada and Mexico, all across the United States as well. We're glad that you're here today at City of Light. We invite you now to join us in this great spirit of praise and celebration as we listen to this selection, How Great Thou Art, and we welcome Gene on our saxophone. Amen. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the fine talents of our music department and our ushers, greeters, our hospitality team. And we're really appreciating the hospitality team today for the wonderful work that they're doing for our soul food dinner on the grounds here today. I can smell the good food already. So you're just going to hold tight. We're going to enjoy a great meal together. First, let's experience the food for the soul, and then let's experience the soul food for the body. Let me ask you a very important question. That's how many of you have a hard time making a choice? You know, you've been with those people that they struggle in making choices. They weigh back and forth. They're a little bit afraid or concerned, well, if I go this way, what will happen? Will I like it? Is it going to be okay? Is it going to be good? If I go that way, how do I feel about it? Those people that constantly waver in choice making. Life seems to be overwhelming when we're faced with an endless stream of perplexing choices from the moment that we came into this world. How many of you remember as a child being asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah, some of us are still trying to answer that question. What do we want to be when we grow up? Yes. How do I find my life mate? How will I pay the bills this month? All kinds of questions and choices. And how do I deal with annoying people? Or, well, we could go on and on with the list of choices that we make that we're faced with on a day-to-day basis. You see, life is all about choices. Choices that come at us in our everyday encounters, no matter what we're doing. When you actually cut away all the junk, shall we say, in every situation, there is a choice. You choose how to react to situations. You're choosing right now whether to listen, daydream, do something else, whatever it may, or think about today's meal that we're having later on. Or you choose how people can affect your mood. Yes, isn't that amazing? We make a choice. They can either make us happy, sad, or disappointed, or angry. Or we make these choices. We chose to be in a good mood. We make a bad mood. We make the choice to decide how we want to live this journey of life. Your life is simply your choice, and it's actually the sum of your choices. Where you are here today, in this moment in your journey, how you've come to this place, is simply the sum of your choices, the choices you've made. Yet behind all the apparent choices, the only real choice is this. Are you ready for this? The only real choice is this. Are you ready for this? Here it is. The only real choice is between fear and love. That's right. To help you in making this choice, let me say that choices that bring about your good, that bring about miracles and blessings and prosperity, well, they're the natural outcome of choosing love. When we choose love, and that's the basis of everything we do. We walk into the morning experience. We walk into the day. We walk into meeting people and say, I choose love. No matter what the encounter is, no matter what the people are or saying, no matter who they are or whatever the circumstances may be, I choose love. I just choose love. How simple that is versus I choose fear and I'm afraid and I'm uncertain and I'm full of anxiety and worry or stress about the circumstances I'm going through. But when we begin our day, when we encounter every situation, when we go to every experience of life, when we go to prayer and we begin with the choice of love as our basis and our foundation, we are setting ourselves for this course of great success, prosperity, and the all good. When we choose love versus choosing fear or to be in fear or thoughts of fear, because let me tell you this, you may say, well, wait a minute, I'm not afraid of everything. Oh, but the roots and the basis of our thought consciousness is, I'm afraid of this outcome. I'm afraid of this experience. I'm afraid of what they might say. I'm afraid of how I might feel. You see, there's all kinds of expressions of this journey of fear within our life. But when we're choosing to live from the perspective of love in all things, we're creating a different outcome. We're actually operating from a different position in our life. I am now standing from the viewpoint of love and looking out to the world from that position. I have a different point of view, and I'm actually operating from God. For God is love. So when I choose to live in love, speak in love, act in love, move in love, I'm actually operating from God, with God, in God, in all these wonderful attributes. You know what? Life does not have to be hard. And a lot of times we face all kinds of hardships and difficulties. And the world has all these fears that have fabricated this idea that life is so difficult and we're never going to escape all the difficulties that we face. There'll always be pressures. There'll always be stress. There'll always be things in our consciousness. Our world wants to echo this kind of thought and teaching in our life. But once we begin to realize that we can make choices to live from love, we are now in a different perspective as we look at what may be termed as a hardship or challenge. We find that we can break it down through the wonderful power of love and find the ease and grace that's there within this journey. I want you to note this, that you can boil down every choice in life to simply love or fear. And when you do this, understand that what heals versus what hurts. Love will heal and fear will hurt. Fear hurts and love heals as simply as that. It hurts you, it hurts others, it hurts situations and experiences when we're living from fear. We're afraid of something. We're cautious in such a way that there's a timidity and a fear about it, or there's a questioning and a wondering, a fear associated with it. But when you're walking in love, it's like you're walking in that innocence and childlike faith. How wonderful that is. You know, love almost gives us a sense of naivete, where we see the all good and expect the all good. But love also gives us the wisdom to understand that even in the midst of that which may be termed as ungood, it's good to be found and good to be experienced and good to be lived. There's a wisdom along that couples with that naivete within the journey of our life. And so when we understand this, we think from this wonderful idea of love versus fear. How will I choose? What is the choice I make? Well, it's simply like this. Think of your life like this, like you're in school. Remember school? Yeah. Some of us are still in school. Life is a school. That's right. We're in the school of life, and we're in that room where there's two teachers, and they're teaching from two different point of views, two different perspectives. And you will go along the way in life by the way of the chosen teacher that you follow or who leads your life. If the teacher of fear is your pathway and your journey, the path of fear is going to manifest more fear in your life. If the teacher or path of love is there for you and you've chosen that path, you're going to manifest more love in your life. One teacher will take you to a higher plane, and the other will leave you sinking in a sense of loss and feeling like you're going nowhere. Which teacher have you chosen? Which teacher will guide you? Which teacher is shaping your life? In the school of life, which is that will be your instructor and guiding you through the journey? You see, sometimes in that journey, we have believed and sustained that there is just so many challenges, there are so many difficulties in the world that we begin to turn things over to the world rather than over to God. We think our environment, this physical world, is the place of healing within our journey. And so we look to all kinds of things to be the healing energy for us. We believe in an object or objects that are outside of ourselves as having the power to heal. But you know what? Even the aspirin only has power if you believe in the power. We know that, as science has worked through the placebo effects, where some have been given a sugar pill and believe that, oh, wow, God, I've got this wonderful healing, wonderful aspirin, or it's healing, it's removing my headache, and it's just simply a sugar pill. And someone else receiving the aspirin, and they're told, well, this could be the sugar pill. Oh, I'm not sure what it is. And that doubt and fear has limited the healing. Does the healing then come from the outside? Or the healing actually come from the inside? You see, healing then comes when we have this wonderful awareness of this divine presence within us, this love at work. That's what shapes and molds the body into this healing power that's so beautiful, that's been created within us, that we're born with. And when we understand this, that sometimes we put our faith in those things as we are standing in fear and afraid of what may be the outcome, afraid of the news the doctor has given us, afraid of this outcome of some medical opinions. And we begin to place our faith in the most trivial and the insane symbols. We put our faith in all kinds of pills, and we put our faith in all kinds of money. And we think of, oh, maybe some protective clothing is going to be there, or some influence or prestige, or simply being liked, all these kind of things. We put our faith in some of the strangest things other than God. Isn't it kind of interesting How many times you put faith into something? You see, all these things are simply replacements for the love of God. They're just replacements for the love of God. There's then this sort of misappropriation of authority from that inner spirit to this external idea or force. It's not working from the inside out, so it's trying to pull from the outside in. You see, you've been given authority. You've been given dominion. From the very creation story, it speaks of this wonderful truth that you've been given to name the circumstance, name the situation, name these things. Go forth and name it. Call it what it is. Call it success. Call it healing. Call it wholeness. Call it perfect. Or, in fear, call it disaster. Call it failure. Call it sickness and illness. Call it whatever you want. It's where your faith is. When we put that faith in this wonderful power of the love of God at work within us, we're putting ourselves in this place of authority that we've been designed as children of God, as the creation of God, to stand in that authority and to speak in that authority and to proclaim in that authority and to let your word be this powerful proclamation of this great authority that healing is mine, love is mine, grace is mine, success is mine. We go on as we sung the chorus in the opening, I am blessed. I am love. We're proclaiming, we're naming it. We're taking that authority into our lives. Matthew 28:18 says this, and Jesus came and spoke to them saying, all power, all authority is given unto me in heaven and on earth. Jesus, being our great example, showing us the way, is speaking that for you. Power and authority, dominion has been given to you to call forth the good of that higher consciousness, that awareness of heaven, to call it forth and allow it to be experienced in this moment. As in heaven, so it is on earth. Proclaiming that as we sang together in the Lord's Prayer, really preaching and speaking the very word that Jesus gave to us as we proclaim it within our word all along. You've had this power all along. As you choose love versus fear, as you make the simplest of choice to say, I journey in love in everything I do and everything I say, you find that this power has been there all along. Now, some of you will say, oh, I've been to a great class, and this class changed my life. Or I went to this workshop. Wow, that spiritual workshop opened up my eyes. Oh my, it's just been amazing what I've learned through this experience. But let me tell you this. What happened is, in that workshop, in that service, when you heard that sermon or whatever enlightening experience you had, you were simply ready and willing for transformation. Because it's really funny, because I've been to so many wonderful workshops and people say, that was the best ever. Boy, did that transform my life. And the next person sitting here, what? I didn't get a thing out of that. I didn't know. What are you talking about? That was boring. It was all get out. I was lost in that. I had nothing. I got nothing out of that one. How can two people be in the same room at the same time having two different experiences? Scripture spoke of that. Two shall be sleeping together. One shall be taken and the other left behind. One will be ready in consciousness to be taken up in the aha. And the other will like, I'm not getting it at all because I am just not ready for this. What I want to say is this. You're ready and you're willing for this transformation. So you gave that seminar, that talk, that church experience, that service permission to give you what you wanted and what you needed. Now, you could have done it all along without the seminar, but wait, but don't give up on these things because they're tools. They're tools that just know that they are these wonderful methods, these workshops, church services, experiences, workshops, etc. All these things that bring about enlightenment are powerful tools that we need. They're not saviors. They're tools. But within you, you make the choice. Do I choose love or fear? And in choosing love, I choose the highest and best. I choose to get all I can. I choose to experience the fullness. When I choose love and I talk to you, I want to get all I can, receive all I can, be open and give all I can because I'm choosing this love energy to flow within my life. Now I choose fear. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be near you. Ooh, I don't even like you. Oh my God, what you say is annoying. You're bothering me or whatever. Because we made these choices in our life. So we have these kinds of experiences. But when we choose love, when we operate from that in all ways, words, actions, and deeds begin to shape your experiences to bring about the wonderful experience that you've known all along. You're just awakening to it. You've known this because you were created in the likeness and the image of God. Wisdom is there. We're just called to awaken to it. So I want to encourage you that if you can't claim perfect faith in your life, simply claim perfect love. That's all, because a lot of people say, I'm struggling with my faith. I want to have great faith. I want to believe for great things. But I want to say it's as simple as this. Just claim some perfect love. Because when you don't know what else to do and your faith is wavering, just know that love is all you do. Just love. Just love. Actually, believing in love is the most powerful faith because God is love. So what you're believing in, this love is going to unfold in this moment. Love is going to unfold in this experience. I'm facing the doctor and I'm going to hear some news, but I just know love is going to unfold in it. I know love is going to happen. That is God unfolding in this experience. I'm going to buy a house and I know love is going to help me in this journey. I'm making a job change and I know love is going to be there. I'm looking, acting, believing, contemplating, thinking, everything is simply love. And I'm believing love because it's the most powerful faith that we can experience. You know, all disease, dis-ease is disease, is the denial of love. And the denial of love is simply our fear. When we're afraid, when we're terrified, we're just nervous. We're full of anxiety and stress. And that fear is just building up within us and creating more dis-ease, disease within us. But when we walk in love, when we just welcome that love, we then understand this beautiful passage from John in the New Testament, chapter 4, verse 18. Perfect love casts out all fear. Perfect love. God is this perfect love. Love is this wonderful experience of the divine. It removes all fear. So in life, there's two choices. Seems kind of simple, doesn't it, to know what choice to make? But sometimes we struggle with it. Sometimes we just don't quite understand that love is the answer for so many things, and maybe all we need is love. How many of you are familiar with the great prophets of the 60s who profoundly proclaimed through music an incredible teaching? Those great prophets were the Beatles. Yeah, that's right. The Beatles. Singing simply, all you need is love. Dun, da, 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 da. All you need is love. How many remember it? How many have heard it? Yes. All you need is love is the great prophetic word. It is that which is the wisdom of the ages. All we need is that. We don't need anything else. What are we doing with fear? We don't need fear. Why do we choose fear? All we need is love. Wow, amazing if we would just comprehend those words that were sung to us and let that be the great hymn of our church. All we need is love. It's as simple as this. When we choose love, love heals. It heals because it reminds us of who we are. Before we were taught that we were nothing, that we needed something, that we were not good enough, that we were not sufficient, or that we weren't divine. Before we were taught all this, you see, love just reminds us you came from the divine presence of God. The scripture says, I knew you before, not while you were formed in the womb. I knew you before. I was with you before. You were part of this divine presence before, not while just happening when something's happening through fertilization in the womb. It's before that. Do you understand that? How wonderful to know. We were with the divine before, and we're with the divine now. We're in this presence of God, with us, through us, for us. Whew, it's all around us. So I want you to say this with me. Would you repeat after me? I am enough. Oh, do it better than that. Come on. I am enough. I am divine. I am the revelation of God. Right here, right now. I am love. You see? how simple it is? If we just choose, make that choice. When you say I'm love, you're actually saying I choose me because I am the revelation of God. I choose me. I choose God because God is in me. God is through me. God is around me. I choose to live authentically as this divine child of God. You know, today's world is calling people to live authentic life. Live who you really are. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful if everyone did really live who they are? Because who you really are is a spiritual being. Who you really are is a child of God. Let's start living authentically. Let's begin to say, I am living my authentic life. I know who I am. I choose love today. I choose because I am enough. I am divine. I am the revelation of God. But when you make that choice, get ready for the outcome. Get ready for the outcome. Get ready for the good. Get ready for the blessings. Get ready for the unfolding when you make that important choice. A choice between fear or love. This is a story of a man named John Blanchard who one day stood up from the bench, straightened his army uniform, and studied the crowd of people making their way through Grand Central train station. He looked for the girl whose heart he knew, but whose face he didn't know. It was the girl with the rose. A girl with the rose. I'm looking, I'm waiting. You see, here's the background story. His interest in this girl began 13 months before in a Florida library. He was taking a book off the shelf, and he found himself intrigued, not with the words of the book, but with the little notes that were penciled in the margins of the book. Beautiful little notes. The soft handwriting reflected a thoughtful soul and an insightful mind. In the front of the book, he discovered that the previous owner's name was Miss Hollis Meynell. Miss Hollis Meynell. Wow. He said, I need to locate this woman. I'm intrigued by her. I love her messages. I love her thinking. I love her consciousness. I need to know her. And so he took some time and put a lot of effort, and he located her address, and that she found out she lived in New York City. He wrote her a letter and introducing himself and inviting her to correspond, that they might kind of have this wonderful correspondence experience of getting to know one another. Sadly, the next day, he was shipped out for service in World War II. And during the next year, the two of them grew to know each other through mail, writing letters back and forth, and each letter was the sort of seed falling on a fertile heart as they began to grow in a wonderful romance. Love was building and budding within their lives. And Blanchard requested a photograph of his new acquaintance. But she refused. She said, she felt that if he really cared, it wouldn't matter what she looked like. I'm not sending a photograph. Because if you really care, if you're really into me, if you're really that way, does it matter what I look like? Well, the day finally came for him to return from Europe, and they scheduled their first meeting. It was at 7 p.m. at Grand Central Station in New York City. Waiting there, hearing the trains come in, straightening his uniform, thinking, I'm going to meet her. And he said, how will we find each other? How are we going to? She said, you'll recognize me by the red rose I'm going to be wearing in my lapel. So he began to search. A woman with a red rose, woman with a red rose. I'm watching. So 7 o'clock, he was at the station, and he was looking with his heart just pumping away, and he began to just think, what's this going to be like? I can't wait to meet her. I'm so excited after this long journey of years of months of correspondence and the wonderful love that we've been building. I am just so excited. So from his point of view, let me tell you the story. He writes, a young woman was coming toward me. Her figure was long and slim. Her blonde hair lay back in curls and delicately on her shoulders. Her eyes were blue like flowers. Her lips and chin, gentle firmness, and her pale green suit was like springtime come alive. Wow. He started to walk towards her. Wow. This is... Oh, wait a minute. Wait. She's not wearing a rose. where's the rose? Where's the red rose? What's happening? And began to realize that she's not the one wearing the red rose, but the woman behind her is wearing the red rose. And he began to just be a little flustered as he was thinking, wait. And the beautiful blonde in the light green pale suit walked by and simply said, "Hey, going my way, sailor?" And he realized, this must not be my Hollis Meynell. Standing behind her, though, was this woman wearing the red rose. And to my surprise, she was a woman past 40 years. And she had gray hair tucked under her worn hat. And she was a little more plump and a little thick-ankled. If I'm describing the type, you know the look. And the girl in the green suit was walking away quickly. The red rose. Okay. He felt as though he was kind of split in two between this desire to this gorgeous woman and the woman with the red rose. Okay. And trying to make this decision, he began to just be stressed and began to worry and began to think, wait a minute, what do I do? And he just began to look at the woman with the red rose and remembered all the correspondence, the words of love, the wonderful relationship they had built. And he began to say, I'm not going to hesitate. I'm going for the woman with the red rose. And he walked over to her and he gripped this small little blue leather copy of the book that he had picked up from the library in Florida that had been the introduction tool to begin with. He said, this is how she'll know I am the man. And he walked up to her with this wonderful boldness. He felt a little choked, a little disappointed as the blonde began to walk away. He walked up and said, I'm Lieutenant John Blanchard, and Blanchard, you must be Miss Meynell. I'm so glad to meet you. May I take you to dinner? The woman's face kind of smiled a little bit, and she said, I don't know what this is all about, son. But the young lady in the green suit that walked by, she begged me to wear this rose. And she simply said, if you were to ask me out to dinner, I should tell you, she's waiting for you in the big restaurant across the street. Some kind of test. She said it's some kind of test. Some kind of test about the choices you'd make in life. I'm asking you, do you have trouble making choices? Because the only choice we make in life is between love and fear. That's it. And when we choose love, no matter what it looks like, it's the highest and best. It's the good unfolding. It's the blessing. When we choose to speak from love, act from love, walk in love, do love, I choose that love is who I am today. I choose that everything in my life is begin with the basis of love as my number one choice. And I am not choosing fear. And no matter what fear may look like, love is my direction. No matter what may be tempted with fear, or no matter what might come my way to lure me, I'm sticking with the woman wearing the rose. I'm making the choices that are founded and grounded in love. So let me tell you this. Life will bring you tests. And the question is, what will you choose? Let me tell you, it's a simple choice that we can make every day. Because how simple it is to choose between two things that are totally unalike, clearly not alike at all. Fear and love have nothing in common. The choice seems so simple, doesn't it? That's right. It's as simple as that. Choose love. Amen. We have the opportunity to demonstrate the love that we've chosen, a love in the abundance of God, a love for a God who is ever unfolding our prosperity and blessing. So we have the opportunity to give and give generously, knowing that as we sow, we also reap. So we encourage you to make those choices today in saying, I choose to live and practice the belief that I have a God of abundance. In fact, we have a wonderful celebration of affirmation that we share, and I invite you to share it with me. Let's say it together, please. City of Light is a thriving community that is experiencing the abundance of God. We are growing and flourishing because we believe and practice the teaching of spiritual truth. As we give and receive, we join now in the divine flow. We know that all we share with life returns to us multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And for those of you joining us through Facebook, we want to encourage you that you can go to various different sites to make your donations as well for the support of City of Light. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Love, love, love. All you need is love. Amen. All we need is love. We've got the great hymn of the church already going. That should be our mantra for the weeks and days ahead. That you know what? We're choosing love, right? Everyone ready to make that choice today? Simple as it is. Easy to do. Just to say, I am choosing. I act. I speak. I think. I everything. That's right. I everything in love. How beautiful that is. Because when we do, there's a perfect peace. Perfect love casts out all fear. And what is there? Peace. Join in this closing chorus that simply proclaims, yes, there's peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as my center, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my solemn vow. Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth. Would you pray with me? Let's pray together. This we know to be our truth, that the divine presence, that good, greatness, power of God is now present in our life, and we are fully aware of it. And in this moment, then, we proclaim that we choose love. That everyone with the sound of my voice is making that choice right here and right now to choose to speak love, act love, think love, do love, be love. Be authentic, for you are the child of God, and that child of God is love and loving and immensely immersed in this wonderful blessing of goodness that we call love. So with this now, as we proclaim for each and every one the highest and best, as they're making this choice on a day-to-day basis, we know that as they do, they're experiencing great healing and wholeness and strength and guidance and all that they may need within their journey of their life as they follow the teacher of love, as they follow the insight of love, as they follow the instruction of love, as they follow love, they're transformed to be the highest and best that they can be. We see it, we claim it, and we are grateful for it as together we say, and so it is. So take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me. Amen. Would you give a round of applause to Gene, who's joined us, and our band and our musicians? We are so grateful for the wonderful music today. We're going to join now in a time of fellowship for Soul Food Sunday, enjoying a great menu. We've feasted on some food for the soul, and now let our bodies be nourished. So before we leave, let me offer a simple grace for a blessing upon the meal that we're about to take. Loving God, are nurturing and strengthening us each and every day. For the spiritual nurturing that we take and we bring into our body is grounded in love, and we feast on the goodness of love. Now we go to partake of that food which will nourish our physical body. And in that spirit of love, we receive it now, knowing that we are blessed by it. We are grateful for all that is provided, grateful for the many cooks and the wonderful hospitality we're sharing. And we know that our conversation over this meal is simply uplifting, encouraging, and grounded in that spirit of love. So with that, we are grateful for what is about to transpire and for the blessing upon this nourishment. And so it is. Amen. God bless you. May you go in God's peace. And those of you who've joined us through our live streaming, we'll look forward to seeing you next week as we reach out to many across the world. God bless you. Go in God's peace.